Immature leader. Most people don't like leadership which holds no one accountable. Then again, who holds accountable the failures made by leadership? In politics, people tend to blame someone else for everything that works out badly. We inherited these problems, or the other guy cut us off halfway through when we were pushing our campaign after we served our full term or lost the next election or whatever. Happens all the time. Is it too much to ask for someone to look back on the failures in planning and administrative actions with sympathy for everyone involved? Every injured party, that is. Now, I'm going to read you a letter. So it's called Dear Presidential Candidate. And I hope that you enjoy, but I'm going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I almost said Declaration of Independence. Constitution and Bill of Rights. You know, I pledge allegiance. Let's just imagine I have a flag that I'm looking into. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, dear presidential candidate, I hope this letter finds you and your family in prosperity and in good spirits. Dear next Mr. President or Mrs. or Miss, as a new parent with several young children to look after with my limited capability, not all my biological children, of which I have one, I have a few fears, cares, and concerns. Number one, will we be safe to send our kids away to college? Many parents feel that what they may be learning in schools, college, and university is something unconstitutional, not to mention repugnant with unethical sentiments attached. Many parents, not unlike myself, and struggling with learning about what to do in order to prepare those children for the real world. As they leave elementary school, as my biological son is about to do, well, he's leaving kindergarten and going into the first grade. They start to learn from their peers and their teachers various forms of ideology. Parents in my community and on many platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, and other social media have expressed similar worries. We just want values expressed, virtues and success principles, as though you knew how to operate a business, much less to operate the military. In our next waves of education reform, I'm not here to complain, criticize, or to condemn anyone. I'm here to express the fears and concern of my peers. Not only that, but I mean to express my desire for how education could be reformed. It's clear to me that people want egalitarian politics. Whoever does not come to the table in truthful concision will not have my clear and concise truthfulness, will not have my support in the coming months as we choose a new president in November. I'm asking you for three things. Aristotle's Ethics, with its politics considered. All things considered, Aristotle's Ethics and the Politics are good reads, good subjects of study. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Excuse me. And How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. These are some of the best subjects of study that I've ever read myself personally in my self-driven desire for education. The teachings of these three men, Aristotle, Dale Carnegie, and Napoleon Hill, are to be considered the philosophy behind education reform. Don't worry if you don't have time to read all these books. I picked up a Spark Notes from Harvard on Aristotle's Ethics, and I studied it for about 8 months or so. I just kept reading it, committing it to memory, so that I could know what I'm talking about in discussion of these books. I've read Dale Carnegie's book 3 times now. I've read Think and Grow Rich upwards of 6 times. Don't worry if you don't have time to read all these books. I've read them for you, and I've put it all together into a unified front against bad religion and politics. My campaign is not strictly in favor of teaching kids to grow up with an ethical success philosophy. In fact, not strictly that. Not just that. In fact, I'll hardly mention that at all. I'm right now just sharing the new and abridged version and unisex version, almost. It's for men. That's what I mean to say. Unisex version of my ideals. This channel represents my conceptions of the art of politics, philosophy, and the sword of religious ideology. I also intend to publish it in book format. If someone came forth asking me about how I feel education could be reformed, I'd sell them a few books and I'd say, condense these into a kids-friendly version and show it to someone. The philosophy is already there. The ideology is already in print. You just need to reformat it for children. Why? I'll tell you in a moment. Smart ethical politics has long appeared to be on the decline in some people's minds. To the contrary, I think we're making some decent progress. Kids need kids need an ethical philosophy, and they need to understand true religion. A comparative religious survey looking at every major world religion for its key tenets could prove useful. True politics will offer equal opportunity. That's the purpose of our ethical success philosophy. Okay? Kids need the principles of success so that regardless of their ethnic backgrounds, they can have an equitable solution. People feel that minorities have been disproportionately marginalized and have been facing a disadvantage, and this would solve that problem. That is, if their parents' and legal guardians' performances were subpar, they'll be taught to think adequately and with a positive attitude towards personal success, in theory. That's all for now, but one more thing. It's up to heads of household and not the state to teach kids about religious morals and dogma. Also, their political views are not for the state to choose for them. That means your political leanings and your religion of choice, if any at all, well, that's up to your parents to teach you while you're still a minor. Also, their political views are not for the state to choose for them. You cannot impose upon others who they should vote for in education. Also, their political views are not for the state to choose for them. That's up to heads of house and their household leadership. So, Godspeed. I wish you the best, whoever the best people are. I hope you have the good teams that you need to have. I hope you have training aids. I hope you have all of the things that you'll need to have to be successful. The person who comes up with the most equitable solution for everyone involved. So, God bless America.